Chapter 1 of Martha by the Day. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Martha by the Day by Julie M. Lippmann. Chapter 1. If you are one of the favored few privileged to ride in chaises, you may find the combination of Broadway during the evening rush hour in a late November storm stimulating. You may, that is, provided you have a reliable driver. If contrariwise you happen to be of the class whose fate it is to travel in public conveyances, and lucky if you have the price, and the car, say, won't stop for you, why, Claire Lang had been standing in the drenching wet at the street crossing for fully 10 minutes. The badgering crowd had been shouldering her one way, pushing her the other, until, being a stranger and not very big, she'd become so bewildered that she lost her head completely, and with the blind impulse of a hen with paresis, started straight out in amidst the crush of traffic, with all the chances strong in favor of her being instantly trampled underfoot, or ground under wheel, and never a one to know how it had happened. An instant, and she was back again in her old place upon the curbstone. Something like the firm iron grip of a steam derrick had fastened on her person, hoisted her neatly up, and set her as precisely down exactly where she had started from. It took her a full second to realize what had happened. Then, quick as a flash, anger flamed up in her pale cheeks, blazed in her tired eyes. For of course this was an instance of insult, described by the family at home as common to the experience of unprotected girls in New York City. She groped about in her mind for the formula to be applied in such cases, as recommended by Aunt Amelia. "Sir, you are no gentleman. If you were a gentleman, you would not offer an affront to a young defenseless girl who—" The rest eluded her. She could not recall it, try as she would. In desperate resolve to do her duty anyway, she tilted back her umbrella, whereat a fine stream of water poured from the tip directly over her upturned face, and trickled cheerily down the bridge of her short nose. "Sir," she shouted resolutely, and when she stopped, for plainly her oration was in the premises a misfit, the person beside her, the one of the mortal effrontery and immortal grip, being a woman of masculine proportions, towering, deep-chested, large-limbed, but with a face which belied all these, for in it her sex shone forth in a motherliness unmistakable, as if the world at large were her family, and it was her business to see it was generously provided for, along the pleasantest possible lines for all concerned. "What car?" the woman trumpeted, gazing down serenely into Claire's little, wet, anxious, upturned face at her elbow. "Columbus Avenue." The stranger nodded, peering down the glistening, wet way as if she were a skipper sighting a ship. "My car, too. First Lexington, next Broadway, then there's ours." Again that derrick grip, and they stood in the heart of the maelstrom, but apparently perfectly safe, unassailable. "They won't stop," Claire wailed plaintively. "I've been waiting for ages. The car'll go by. You see if it won't." It did, indeed, seem on the point of sliding past, as all the rest had done, but of a sudden the motorman vehemently shut off his power and put on his brake. By some hidden mysterious force that was in her, or the mere commanding dimensions of her frame, Claire's companion had brought him to a halt. She lifted her charge gently up onto the step, pausing herself before she should mount the platform to close the girl's umbrella. "Step lively, the conductor urged insistently, reaching for his signal strap. The retort came calmly, deliberately, but with perfect good nature. "Not on your life, young man. I've been stepping lively all day, and for so long's it's going to take this car to get to 116th Street, my time ain't worth no more a settin' hens." The conductor grinned in spite of himself. "Well, mine is," he declared, while with an authoritative finger he indicated the box into which Claire was to drop her fare. "So all the other roosters think. the woman let fall with a tolerant smile while she diligently searched in her shabby purse for 5 cents. Claire, in the doorway, lingered. "Step right along in, my dear. Don't wait for me," her friend advised, closing her teeth on a dime as she still pursued an elusive nickel. "Step right along in and sit down anywheres, and if there ain't nowheres to sit, why just take a waltz step or two in the direction of some of them elegant gentlemen's feet occupying the places meant for ladies, and if they don't get up for love of you, they'll get up for love of their shins." Still the girl did not pass on. "Fare, please." There was a decided touch of asperity in the conductor's tone. He glared at Claire, almost menacingly. Her lip trembled. The quick tears sprang to her eyes. She hesitated, swallowed hard, and then brought it out with a piteous gulp. "I had my fare. It was in my glove. It must have slipped out. It's gone, lost, and—" A tug at the signal strap was the conductor's only comment. He was stopping the car to put her off, but before he could carry out his purpose the woman had dropped her dime into the box with a sounding click. "Fare for two," she said, "and if I had time and a place to sit, I'd turn you over across my knee and give you two for fare, young man, for the sake of your mother who didn't learn you better manners when you was a boy." With which she laid a kind hand upon Claire's heaving shoulder and impelled her gently into the body of the car, already full to overflowing. For a few moments the girl had a hard struggle to control her rising sobs, but happily no one saw her working face and twitching lips, for her companion had planted herself like a great bulwark between her and the world, shutting her off, walling her round. Then suddenly she found herself placed in a hurriedly vacated seat from which she could look up into the benevolent face inclined toward her and say, without too much danger of breaking down in the effort, "I really did have it, the money, you know. Truly, I'm not a—" "Oh, pooh! Don't you worry your head over a little thing like that. Such accidents is liable to occur in the best regulated families. They do in mine, sure." "But you see," quavered the uncertain voice, "I haven't any more. That's all I had, so I can't pay you back, and—" It was curious, but just here another passenger hastily rose, vacating the seat next Claire's, and leaving it free, whereat her companion compressed her bulky frame into it with a sigh, as of well-earned rest, and remarked comfortably, "Now we can talk. You was saying, what was it? About that change, you know. 'Twas all you had. You mean by you, of course." Claire's pale, pinched face flushed hotly. "No, I don't," she confessed, without lifting her downcast eyes. Her companion appeared to ponder this for a moment, then quite abruptly she let it drop. "My name's Slosson," she observed. "Martha Slosson. I go out by the day. Laundry work, house cleaning, general chores. I got a husband and 4 children, to say nothing of a mother-in-law who lives with us and keeps an eye on things while me and Sammy, that's Mr. Slosson, is out working, and lucky if it's an eye itself, for it's not a hand, I can tell you that. What's your name, if I may make so bold?" "Claire Lang. My people live in Grand Rapids, where the furniture and carpet sweepers come from," with a wistful, faint little attempt at a smile. "My father was judge of the Supreme Court, but he had losses, and then he died, and there wasn't much left of anything, and so—" "You come to New York to make your everlasting fortune, and you—" Claire Lang shook her head, completing the unfinished sentence. "No, I haven't made it. That is, not yet. But I'm not discouraged. I don't mean to give up. Things look pretty dark just now, but I'm not going to let that discourage me. No, indeed, I'm going to be brave and courageous and never say die, even if— "Turn round and pretend you're looking out of the window," suggested Mrs. Slosson confidentially. "The way folks stare, you'd think the world was full of nothing but laughing hyenas. Don't you care, my dear? Well, for some of them, if they could shed an honest tear or two themselves once in a while, instead of being that brazen, Wouldn't be water at all, but Putz's pomady it'd take to make an impression on 'em. And don't you forget it. There, that's right. Now, no one can observe what's occurring in your face, and I can talk straight into your ear, see? What I was going to say is, that being a mother myself and having children of my own to look out for, I couldn't recommend any lady, let alone one so young and pretty as you, to take up with strangers here in New York City, be they male or be they female. No, certainly not. But in this case, you can take it from me, I'm okay. I can give the highest references. I worked for the best families in this town ever since I was a child. You needn't be a mite afraid. I'm just a plain mother of a family, and believe me, you can trust me as you would trust one of your own relations, though I do say it as shouldn't, knowing how queer own relations can be and is when put to it at times. So, if you happen to be in a hole, my dear, without friends or such things in the city you feel free to turn to, or if you seem to stand in need of a word of advice or anything else, why, don't you hesitate a minute. It'd be a pretty deep hole Martha Slauson couldn't see over the edge of. Be sure of that, even if she did have to stand on her toes to do it. Holes is my specialty, having been in and out, as you might say, all my life, particularly in. Judicious or not, Claire told her story. It was not a long one, just the everyday experience of a young girl coming to a strange city, without influence, friends, or money, expecting to make her way and finding that way beset with difficulties, blocked by obstacles. "I've done everything I could think of. Honestly, I have," she concluded apologetically. "I began by trying for big things, artwork in editorial offices. Everybody liked my artwork in Grand Rapids, but 'twas no use. Then I took up commercial drawing. I got what looked like a good job, but the man gave me 1 week's pay, and that's all I could ever collect, though I worked for him over a month. Then I tried real estate. One firm told me about a woman selling for them who cleared, I don't know how much a week, in commissions. Something queer must be the matter with me, I guess, for I never got rid of a single lot, though I walked my feet off. I've tried writing ads, and I've directed envelopes. I've read the wants columns till it seems as if everybody in the world was looking for a job, but I can't get anything to do. I guess God doesn't mean me to die of starvation, for you wouldn't believe how little I've had to eat all summer and fall, and yet I'm almost as strong and hearty as ever. But lately I haven't been able to make any money at all, not 5 cents, so I couldn't pay my board. They told me at the house where I live that I'd have to square up tonight, or I couldn't keep my room any longer. They took my trunk a week ago. I haven't had anything to wear except these clothes I have on since, and they're pretty wet now, and I've nowhere to go, and it is pouring so hard, and I should have been put off the car if you hadn't." Mrs. Slauson checked the laboured flow with a hand upon the girl's knee. "Where did you say your boarding house is?" she inquired abruptly. 95th Street, West, 285½. "Good gracious, and we're only 3 blocks off there now." "But you said," expostulated Claire helplessly, feeling herself propelled as by the hand of fate through the crowd toward the door. "You said you live on 116th Street." "So I do, my dear, so I do. But I've got some business to transact with a lady living in 95th Street, West, 285½. Come along. Step lively, as my friend this nice young man out here on the rear platform says." End of chapter 1. Read by Sandra in Nova Scotia, 2024.